Watching the snow cascade down like a controlled chaos, I decided to settle in and for once try reading a romance novel.
They're hauling misery into court.
And I have to say,
I'm your #1 fan.
I'm talking about Misery from 1990. I don't know where to even begin here.
And don't even think about anybody coming for you. Not the doctors, not your agent, not your family.
This spine-tingler of a horror classic holds up better than ever.
I'm gonna put on my Liberace records.
A perfect double feature too. With similar tropes in both where the noisy Nellie manages to get themselves done in by the protagonist. Here, Sheriff Buster, played by Richard Farnsworth, like Scatman Crothers, feels genuine.
You see, it's just that kind of sarcasm that's given our marriage real spice.
James Caan is a reluctant romance novelist by the name of Paul Sheldon.
Miss Chastain put braces on your daughter's teeth and is putting her through college. Bought you 2 houses and floor seats to the Knicks. And what thanks does she get? You go and kill her.
Told as a precursor to set up what's to come as a stroke of genius looking at this a second time around.
I don't want her, bitch! I want her! And you murdered her!
No, I didn't.
What's even better now is learning from that lit fuse from the get-go. I love this film even more the second time.
That's why I couldn't remember all the things they were asking me on the witness stand in Denver.
How you're solely focused on Caan's character with just his little expressions, as an almost nod to the audience that he too also knows what's to come. You gotta get the hell out of that house, Jimmy. I had forgotten how quickly this all begins to fall apart for Annie Wilkes.
In a way, I was following you.
You were following me.
Played by Oscar winner of this role, Kathy Bates.
What do you think I say when I go to the feed store in town? Oh, now, Wally, give me a bag of that effing pig feed and 10 pounds that bitchly cow corn.
Who, in reading some trivia, had a hard time emotionally handling the violent sequences, where she would break down beforehand.
And I don't think I better be around you for a while.
To her and Jimmy Caan not seeing eye to eye on the method of acting.
Whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it.
Director Rob Reiner, quote, told her to use the frustrations toward her character. With one another's emotions through the entirety are a sheer treat of 2 great actors sparring.
Such a kidder.
Rob Reiner also stated that he watched a lot of Hitchcock films prior to shooting this. And while watching, not privy to this knowledge ahead of time myself, as a Hitch fan, I noticed when these touches creeped in.
I'd like for you to be in on everything, Annie, not just the finished book, but how it's written.
Thank you for thinking of me.
Drawn out sequences of Paul scrambling around the house. You feel every muscle, bruise, and broken bone.
Well, I'll get your stupid paper, but you just better start showing me a little more appreciation around here, Mr. Man.
One of the greatest sequence setups ever. When Paul first manages to exit his room when Annie's off to town, you know that dang penguin is gonna come back and bite him. Which is temporarily forgotten about since Paul manages a few more excursions. Getting cocky, he makes that one fatal mistake.
Is this what you're looking for?
In the book, she severs his left foot, then cauterizes it. I think this is much more effective, especially since there is no pause, just effect.
Trust me.
God's sake!
It's for the best.
Annie is a committed gal till death do them part.
You see, I've known for some time why I was chosen to save you. You and I were meant to be together forever.
So when she delivers the chilling Hobbler story,
No, if they caught them, they had to make sure they could go on working. But they also had to make sure they could never run away. The operation was called hobbling.
this becomes the chore of the day, already punched and done in her head.
God, I love you.
After burning his personal manuscript that he nearly died over, Annie gifts our broken writer with a vintage typewriter that has a missing N.
You're gonna write a new novel. Your greatest achievement ever.
With this heavy task at hand, Paul reluctantly taps away the newfound resurrection of misery.
I'm sorry, Paul, this is all wrong.
What?
You'll have to do it over again.
Only to have Annie put a pin in it from the start.
Misery was buried in the ground at the end, Paul. So you'll have to start there.
She ain't wrong. The audience doesn't like when you cheat them, especially with the main character that was killed off, to only come back in some lame brain idea.
They just cheated us! This isn't fair! He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie car!
With the sheriff putting cause and effect together via some bedtime reading, a catchy quote leads him to Annie's.
Oh, my.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you, but You didn't give me a chance to knock.
As Paul is sequestered to the basement, Sheriff Buster's 9 Lives ends here. Annie realizing her time is nearly up, and Paul learning more than he's bargained for in her previous killing sprees.
I know I left my scrapbook out. I can imagine what you might be thinking of me.
Holding her off just a little longer to finish up Misery's comeback together.
Oh, Paul, I'm dying. Does she wind up with Ian or Winthorne?
You'll know very soon.
With these two finally entering the octagon,
No, Misery! My Misery!
one taps out with the other hobbling his way back to #1 bestseller. So, if you're looking for a masterful character study where your biggest fan might just be there one day to save your life,
I just want to tell you I'm your #1 fan.
pray it ain't Annie Wilkes. Until next time.
My Sal, Misery.
Thank you to our YouTube members and everyone out there for your continued support. And Hail Cthulhu!